So this is Jennifer Donna. I'm the director of YoungFemaleEntrepreneurs.com, and you're watching the City Coordinator meeting. It's our first one that we're doing live, so that it's open, transparent, and you can get real-time feedback on the things that we're talking about. And so I'm here today with Erin of Well in LA, who you can see. And then I'm also on with Marissa, who I do have an image of, but unfortunately her Skype is not cooperating with us today.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this shot really fast so that it's, well, maybe we should just leave it up there so that's a little face. That's where Marissa should be. All right, so.
It probably looks way better than I do right now anyway.
Oh, no. So why don't we go ahead and start it off by just explaining what we're going to be going over. We're going to be going over, oh, my mic is like way over there. We're going to be going over more of like what YFE is, some things to discuss. We're going over the website and its purposes, official in real life meetups, online events, and kind of kick it off with that. So just to review, Young Female Entrepreneurs, if you guys are new, I need to open up that Facebook chat again too to see if you guys are chatting on there. But Young Female Entrepreneurs is really, Erin and I talked about this. Oops, sorry guys, I just covered Erin. It's hard to explain because Young Female Entrepreneurs, it's not an organization, right, Erin? I mean, there's no, you don't become a member of Young Female Entrepreneurs.
Right. There's no sort of, standing life membership of sorts. And so we're kind of leaving it more open because I do think there's an ebb and flow being a YFE where you don't want to feel like you have to go to a meeting twice a month to be a member of a group. And this is still a great way to be connected in a way that works for our generation and for our schedules.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've been kind of reterming it, because for a while I was saying, oh, we're a platform, we plan events, online events, primarily in these in real life meetups. But then, how do I explain things like this where we're using, digital media type of a thing to pull in a community? So what I've been playing with is saying that we are a platform for discovery. I know I talked to you a little bit about it, Erin, but it's really whether it's discovering new people to help you start and grow your business, or if it's brands, or if it is new stories or headlines, anything like that, I guess, versus just an event planner, because I think we're just more than that.
We are.
All right. So we have some people on. Oh, I like Tiffany. You said it's a movement. Fantastic. I think that's very true.
Where do I see the comments, Jen?
Yeah, so it's on the yfe.me/live on F is our short tag. And then if you scroll down to a bit, you see the Facebook comments. And you might need to accept the app in order to comment and that kind of a thing. I can't remember what exactly goes into it. It's Ustream if you guys are watching right now.
Okay.
So we'll make sure that we monitor the comments. So if you guys have questions or feedback or input, whatever it is, saying that, you want to get involved by X, Y, and Z, we'll make sure that we include that. And I am recording the video too so that we can take notes on everything that's going on. All right, so to just get started with, we've got two people on the live stream, right? We've got Erin, who you're seeing right now, who's out in Los Angeles. She's the YFE LA coordinator. And then Marissa, I'll show her photo again. She's our coordinator over in New York City, and she's brand new. So this is like her debut out to young female entrepreneurs around the world. So welcome, Marissa. We're very excited to talk to you, but why don't we just start with, just in case people don't know who Erin is. Erin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi. I feel like everybody should know me by now. I'm just kidding. So my business, my blog is Well in LA, and I started connecting with YFE online about a year ago through the suggestion of a friend out of Seattle. And it's been a love fest ever since. But it's been fun engaging online because I do work from home, and sometimes you feel really isolated and like you're not connecting with your peers. And so getting into this group has really made what I'm doing in my business and my personal life much more, it's just made it much more meaningful for me, and connecting with more women who are also in that same sort of situation. So I contacted Jen earlier this year and asked her if we could do something live and bringing it to LA, and she wholeheartedly agreed that that we could add that component. And so we threw the first YFE LA in May, and just finished our third one last week in downtown Los Angeles. So looking forward to growing and seeing what this becomes in 2013.
Awesome. Now, just for the record, do you remember who the Twitter friend was that introduced us all?
I do. Jennifer Jordan. She's a trainer and nutritionist out of Seattle. So shout out to Jennifer.
I love Jennifer Jordan. She's amazing.
For the glow?
Yeah, for the glow. So just to let you know, Marissa, I did get your photo up, so it's the three of us now.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. My Skype isn't cooperating.
It happens. It totally happens. All right. So, Marissa, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself then? Because, I mean, like, we've had Erin on the live stream a few times now. She's done, like she said, the 3 events, and she's always kind of buzzing around the community somewhere. But, Marissa, you've been to Twitter chats, and I know you've seen the live stream a couple times. Yeah. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I've just been lurking a little bit, trying to see what really goes on. My name is Marissa, and my business is Marissa's Wellbeing and Health. I blog at whereineedtobe.com, and I'm a wellness coach and a healthy living and cooking expert. And I live in New York City. I've lived here for about 8 years, and I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. So I recently left my full-time job as a publicist to pursue my business full-time, and it has felt really good. And in the process of doing that, I've sort of gone back to a lot of the activities and things that I really wanted to do when I was working full-time and running my business part-time, but I just, had to sort of put on the back burner because there wasn't enough of me to go around. So I've known Erin actually for virtually for like a year and a half now.
Yeah. We were both writing for a same site, which unfortunately is no longer in existence. Yeah. But that's how we met, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We met that way. We went to the same sort of nutrition school, and sort of somehow the universe brought us together. And I had also known about young female entrepreneurs, and I was just telling Erin before we went on air that I didn't realize that I didn't really make the connection. And then when I did, I reached out to her and I said, oh my gosh, I want to be involved in New York City and sort of do what you're doing in LA. It looks amazing. And she put me in touch with Jen, and that's how I got here. The rest is history.
Awesome.
Or future. Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on, Marissa, because, I mean, I talked to Marissa over the phone, and she did approach young female entrepreneurs to get involved with it, and so it was just nice because Erin recommended her, and she had a number of people that just absolutely loved her. And one of the things I like about both of you, as far as being a representative of our brand in each city, is that you're very positive, very optimistic, and very high energy. Which I know, Erin, we've talked about, like, as far as energy goes and networking and everything, but there is something about Erin that there's a buzz, like, people are attracted to her, and I think the same thing is really going to happen with Marissa. So I'm very excited to have you both continue on with the city. So let's go ahead and get talking about our first topic, which is the website. Now, we have our main website that has, like, on today, I have a picture of it here, Jules. She is of Kickstart Kitchen. She just did a guest blog post, and she reached out to me, and I get a lot of requests for guest blogging on the website, and generally I just it's just not, I don't really know what I want to do with the blog, but I know that I don't want it to be just like a generic tip kind of wastebasket to throw things in. And what I liked about Jules's pitch is that I like Jules. We all like Jules. She's really fun, and she's high energy, some kind of the same qualities as you. So when I do take in guest blogs, I do kind of look for the person behind the actual tips, really, and focus on that. So as far as what's happening on the website, we've got YFE news that are being put up on the blog. There's recaps of past events, whether they're online or in real life. And then little pieces of discovery, like if it's like the boot camp, the crowdfunding boot camp that's happening at the beginning of October, and then profiles on young women. And the profiles piece is what I did at the very beginning of Young Female Entrepreneurs blog, and that really catapulted the site into what it is. And since then, you see profiles all of the time. What I do like about the blog is that it is very centrally focused, and so it's entrepreneurial women in their 20s and 30s across the United States. We've done people in London and Pakistan and a few other international areas, but primarily try and focus on the U.S. Now, as far as Erin is talking, we've talked to her about this in the past, and that there needs to be essentially like some kind of place that collects the information for the specific regions, right? Like the Los Angeles girls, they're city pride all the way. You guys meet each other for coffee, you know about all the hot spots, you want to be able to share different resources, who to talk about, and that's not necessarily something someone in New York City is going to be interested in. So we got YFELA.com and YFENYC.com and YFESEA.com. Not sure if we're going to use those domains, if we're going to do subdomains, what it's going to look like. But Erin, do you have some ideas? Or even if you guys are watching right now live, hopefully someone's watching live. This is the first time we've done it. Make sure that you comment in on the chat and tell us what your feedback is, what you would like for your city. But Erin, you have some ideas about what you want to do with LA.
I do, and everything's a little bit in the formative stage, but essentially I want to help feed and more blog posts to youngfemaleentrepreneurs.com. But what I did and really liked on my site was I had a feature called Dream Big, and
that feature.
And both of you have been featured. But unfortunately, with a couple of different writing outlets that I've signed on to more recently, which I'm super excited for, I had to let go of that feature and put just original content, and that interview series didn't count. So what I want to do is transition that and feature one of the young female entrepreneurs from LA every week. That would be our blog post, and give that woman, like, it's like when you were in kindergarten, you had show and tell, and you were so excited, like you got to bring your thing in for the day and like have all that focus. And I want to kind of bring that enthusiasm and excitement to the featured post for everyone.
It really is something like show and tell when you put out a profile. You're just like, this person is so cool, and you're gonna love it, and I'm so proud that I got to talk to them. Yeah.
It's really fun. It's such an honor to get to meet everyone, and it's really kind of an intimate thing. So it's very fun to do that. So that would be the blog feature for the site. I would love to put up a directory and a referral system, and that being within YFE, because I've already hired or worked with or collaborated with so many women, and I have great things to say, and I could throw a testimonial on their site, but I want to like condense that. So, maybe the first thing you think is like, I want to reach out to my peers here in LA and work with them on whatever it is. If I need a writer, or if I'm throwing an event, there are a lot of event planners. We have some amazing girls in tech startups too. So if you're like, how can I make an app? So the depth and the range of women who are coming to these events, I think it lends itself well to kind of categorizing things and adding more testimonial features.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah, with the date, I was just thinking, I think you mentioned it, or somebody on the testimonials in the blog post that you wrote, I have a little screenshot of it. Erin did a recap of the event on her blog at wellinla.com, so make sure that you guys check that out. But in it, one of the testimonials is something like, I've got a stack of business cards on my desk, and I know Jules mentioned that, but it is kind of like, I need to catalog all of those women so that I know I'm going to need to speak to them at some point in the future. So there needs to be some way of capturing all the data and then connecting people based off of their needs or interests, kind of a thing. In and out of business, though, is the thing. Like, I talked to some women where they were like, oh my gosh, I was from Kansas. You're from Kansas. That's crazy. Right. And so I think that YFE is much more than just, passing out business cards and doing business with each other. It's more about making friends on kind of a silly level, but it really is, because I think you touched on it earlier, that being an entrepreneur is lonely. Like, you're out in your home office, whether it's a home office or co-working space, whatever it is. It's just nice to have people that know what you're talking about. Now, as far as jobs, you've mentioned this in the past too. Do you want to have any other kind of features that are on Los Angeles specific?
I do. Right now, we have a Facebook group, which is nice. It's a great place to start. And man, quite frankly, it's buzzing. So
Yeah.
it's really fun. I want to find ways to like keep that momentum going in between events because I was telling Jen when we talked last week, there's sort of a bell curve where like, right before the event, things ramp up, and then the height of the event, it's buzzing, things are going, and then that continues out. But I want to kind of like keep a nice sustained flow between. And I am starting to see, I'm going to be a little bit like hokey California here, but I was at a yoga workshop this past weekend, and the yoga teacher announced herself as a connector. And I have people throwing, like, girlfriends tossing me jobs like, do you know somebody? Do you know somebody? Do you know somebody? And I post it to my Facebook profile, but I would much rather like share it with a group of competent young women who I feel would be better suited to that. So like already knowing who I'm sharing this with instead of just posting it to Facebook. So yeah, I do want to find a way to like share that. And if there's a need to put that together in a more cohesive way, then that's also something that we'll focus on with the website.
No, I think that's awesome. Marissa, do you have any input of like what you would see New York City young female entrepreneurs needing in the future?
I mean, I think something similar to what Erin's describing sounds amazing. I'm curious, Jen, I mean, do you want to keep everything pretty uniform across the regions, or do you want them each to take on sort of a personality of their own and go off on in their own directions, or do you want to keep it pretty cohesive so that what we do in LA is replicated in New York, is replicated in Seattle?
I think that's a really good question. And so far, what I've done with Erin is kind of just said, do whatever you want. And I think she's done it really well. Erin checks in with me to make sure that it fits the brand, but she also has a really good she understands what young females entrepreneurs is all about, and she doesn't do anything that I think, oh, that doesn't fit our brand. What are you doing? Well, some things she doesn't necessarily fit, I think, what I would see a young woman doing in Seattle. But meeting those women on Thursday, Erin is like, she's a total rock star down there because she gets them. She really does. And so, yeah, I think the uniform to a specific point, that it fits just kind of the needs of young women, and that, they need to connect. They want to be inspired. They want to find out about new things. They want to leave, feeling better about themselves, feeling happy and excited. I think excited is really the word there, that the women, we want them to feel excited about building their business. So yeah, for the New York, specifically about the websites, I do feel like that's the question, like, who's going to edit it? Who's going to bring the pieces together? I mean, that's something that ideally I feel like young female entrepreneurs at the top should do, because you guys have your own businesses and I do not want you to be burnt out, and I don't want you to feel like this, like, I want you to like this. So, yeah, the editing and the getting of the pieces and all that fun stuff is kind of the question, but I think there should definitely be some creative ownership from each city on their particular area.
Ooh, yes. Yeah. I'm looking at down the line. I don't know if we're talking about this in the rest of it. So I did, because we talked about it last week, Jen. I'm putting out the feelers probably early next week. I want to have an intern for next year. There are two amazing campuses here and other smaller schools, but we have USC, we have UCLA. And we talked about the responsibility of interns and all of that, and I think those discussions will continue. But I do think having someone who's in her early 20s who is looking at, like, what do I need to do? How does this work? And just learning the ropes in LA specifically, and then how that translates online. I think that I have a lot to teach someone who's willing to come on and work and help with making this grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Marissa, do you have an intern?
No, not at the moment. It is something that I've thought about, and I want to get going down the road, but not right now.
All right, so we might look at having kind of a team of people behind the website, and we'll talk more about it offline about how to structure all of that fun stuff. Because right now, I skated over, for people that are watching, it's kind of more of a licensing format for the cities versus like something coming up to the top. What do you call that? Like, you know, it's almost like your franchises,
right?
Without any of the formality. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we structure this as far as future young female entrepreneurs. But right now, I'm super happy because there's a lot of young women. There's at least 40 young women in the Los Angeles area that are very happy. There's hundreds of women that watch the videos that are very happy. So it's good. It sounds good to me. It's all good.
I think we're up to 80 people on the Facebook pages, and then almost 100 on the email list. So it's between 3 events. Like I'm wowed how fast this is growing.
Oh, I think it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. So Marissa, as far as to kind of segue into events, then when I know we've been talking a little bit about this, November for New York City.
I think that works. Yeah, November is great. I mean, I was originally thinking October, but now that we're I can't believe we're halfway through September. Oh my gosh.
I know.
So yeah, I think November makes the most sense in terms of planning and just organization, and not, you know, driving ourselves nuts with trying to do a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I would give yourself at least like 6 to 8 weeks to plan.
Okay. Yeah.
Because a lot of details come up, and you're running a business too.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Seriously. So now, as far as Los Angeles goes, you're planning. The next one is November 15th.
Yes. Yeah. And I thought after the first one, I was like, oh, I'll wait a couple weeks. But I'm also on this high from the last one. It was so much fun, and just the addition of 10 more women. So I've limited the tickets to 30 per event, and then we open it up to 40 for the last. And I feel like that was a really nice size. I didn't get to talk to everyone, unfortunately, but you know, I feel like the women who needed to connected. Yeah. So November 15th will be our next one. And I have some big things up my sleeve, so fingers crossed.
That's awesome. Now, as far as Seattle goes, I still have not found a city coordinator in Seattle. I haven't really been actively looking in the last couple of weeks, though. And so it'll be interesting to see who. I think I'm going to be putting together just a casual little meetup for drinks or something that people can just show up to, and we'll see if anyone's interested at that point that I could start like considering it. But so hopefully Seattle will get going in the next month on a casual basis, just because we have kind of a nice little core group here. Just have not done anything organized in the last year or two. So as far as the ticket pricing, you said something about raising ticket prices. Do you want to talk a little bit about that more? I kind of developed that idea.
I do. So I started this, and I wanted to, first of all, in LA, I feel like if you have an event and you don't charge for it, people will flake. And it's not necessarily because people are flaky, but traffic and it's, LA is a huge city to conquer. So there's something to me, there's a value to this, and I'm starting to see with each event that there is a value. Personally, Jen and I also had a great discussion about this. I'm doing something that really gives back to the community, and I'm also not afraid to say, like, I should get some money for that. I'm still toying with the final ticket prices, but it's still going to be something that's very reasonable. I want to continue on a bi-monthly schedule because that's something that I can reasonably manage, with also having writing deadlines and design clients with my own business. And bringing on an intern will help with that piece. But I want to be able to pay our photographers in 2013. I mean, it's not going to be a ton, and what I do hope is a value is the social media exposure and the connections they make at the events, in addition to payment. And I feel like I've got the food piece, the drink piece. I definitely think having drinks is nice because it loosens people up a bit. We can all come in, and it's intimidating to walk into a room of women you don't know. Yeah. And to get feedback from women who came for their first time and said they felt they felt accepted. They felt the warmth. They didn't have that fear, or they had hesitation and fear buying the tickets, but that evaporated once they were there. And I want to continue along those lines. So, so yeah, the ticket prices are going to go up in 2013, but I hope that it goes up in the sense that it provides better value. I will have more time to spend on the website because I do deserve to be compensated for my time when putting all this all together.
Yeah, no, seriously. That was an awesome event, and there was a lot of work that went into it, and a lot of, I mean, just my phone calls to Erin alone should have been compensated. So no, I think that's very much understood. Now, as far as Marissa goes with New York City, what's kind of the accepted norm there?
In terms of paying for events?
Right.
Oh yeah, you can charge for events here.
What's kind of the average price of attending a network event in New York City?
Well, I mean, it really depends. I mean, I've seen anything from free, obviously, to $25. I mean, I don't think $40 is outrageous, but you do have to be providing something of value. I mean, it's not like, you know, people want to know what they're getting for that price.
Well, and if you're watching live still, comment there. Are any of you on the comments to see what because my computer was going to blow up if I didn't close it down. If you guys are on, either one of you, or if you could look to see if anyone's commented with ticket.
I think I can only see the Facebook comments online. And I don't see any comments.
I see Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany.
Well, I think ticket pricing will be something that's interesting, but along the same line, now, Erin, you talked about it briefly in the LA group this morning, Eventbrite. So the affiliation with Eventbrite, we've talked about this in the past, whether or not YFE in Seattle started on Eventbrite and then tried out WordPress, just like our own custom thing that hooked up with PayPal, which worked fine. But why Eventbrite?
Well, first, Eventbrite, it's so easy to use, and they do promotion for you. When I look back at the analytics, yes, it hooks into analytics, which I love, which I also know the WordPress thing does. But I can see on the analytics, like 10% of the ticket sales came from Eventbrite promoting the event too, where people clicked on a link that Eventbrite was sending out through Facebook, through social media. So that to me is a value in and of itself, because
we are not sponsored by Eventbrite.
We are not sponsored by Eventbrite. But I do know that I also, at a couple of events that I've been to here, have run into the city coordinator, Layla. Eventbrite for larger cities has a community coordinator. And her job, which sounds really fun to some of you, exhausting to me, but she goes to events that have ticket sales through Eventbrite. So she is like at anywhere from 1 to 3 events a day.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's very sweet, really busy, but she promotes things. I would love to have her in. I like Eventbrite for the sense that not only are the ticket deposit sales happen quickly, so when I'm forking out money for an event out of my funds, it comes back in quickly, which I know I would with other systems. But it's easy to refund. It's very a nice dashboard as an end user, and you can also use it for free registration as well.
What does that mean?
You can use it just if you're not charging for an event, you can just host it through there, and they'll still give you the same love, the same kind of promotion, even if you're doing something free. For instance, I'm going to do these little informal like coffee meetups between now and the next event around the city. I think I'm going to schedule 3, and I'm going to use Eventbrite, and those will be free tickets. But I want to know who's coming and just get a sense of like what I'm expecting. And I think it gives people a little more official reminder.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. All right, so Marissa, is Eventbrite okay with you to stick to that?
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, it makes everything a little bit easier.
Yeah. And related to ticket prices, you know, I just had a thought that I think for our first event, you know, we can price a little bit lower just because, you know, we're just starting out, and then, you know, hopefully over time we can raise it. But I think we're better off pricing a little bit on the lower end until we build up some buzz.
You know, No, I think that's a great idea. Now, as
Yeah.
far as the sponsors go and speakers and photographers, people that want to be involved in reaching the demographic of entrepreneurial women in their 20s and 30s, because this is a really interesting demographic to be part of, because it's very much a lifestyle kind of a thing when you're an entrepreneur. It connects with your fashion, your what you do on vacation, I mean, everything. Health, etc. And so there's a lot of people that are reaching out to Erin. I know you have like a lineup of something like 5 or 6 photographers that want to be to take photos for the next event. So what's the process, do you think, that would be most fair and easiest to manage for you for taking in people that are interested in reaching this market?
That's a good question. I think having a submission on a website helps me to clear things a little bit, just to know where and how people are finding me. There's a little more clarity with that. With the process for selecting like speakers and hosts and all of that, I was going to open it up, but I actually just find it's much easier if I take on that responsibility and leave it open to the group. If someone wants to step forward to do the photography, if someone wants to sponsor, we had Jill Shaw and Dorothy Cruz put together great little gift bags for this last event, which was the first thing. So like each event, I'm learning my footing as I go and how to make the process better. Because I did find opening it up to anybody to speak flooded my inbox, and it was a little difficult to manage. And I'm getting more and more ideas of like who I would like to have speak to our group, and thinking more. I want to reach to very successful women in the LA community and have them connect in with us. Not that there aren't successful women within YFE, but I feel like having someone a little bit older, a little bit more established, come in and share things with us, mixed in with our peers, is a nice mixture of keeping things new and fresh. Because to me, I want to keep it so it's not the same 40 women each time. So that's also something I'm kind of playing with, is like, do I eventually turn ticket sales into like a lotto? Lots of questions.
Yeah, and there's a lot of room to play now. And Marissa, Erin brought up a really good point as far as the speakers go. Now, I've given total control over to Erin with this, but you're welcome to use the Young Female Entrepreneur's name and that kind of a thing. But as far as the speakers go, having someone that is a little bit more established and has some maturity as far as business experience goes, not only is that beneficial for, I mean, yes, she gets to come in and speak to this market. That's why the speakers usually want to present, is so that they can be known by the women that attend these. But also, it's beneficial to the women that are attending, not just because you learn new things, but you've been given a very good chance to, shake the hand of a woman that you probably would never have met otherwise. We've had, people like connecting with young women, and so we've had like sports anchors and people from like different charities, people that we would not have been able to meet one-on-one in the past. And so it's actually given the opportunity for young female entrepreneurs to give them goods and services, basically. So like we've had someone that's done their wedding invitations out of meeting them at a YFE meeting. Done their branding based off of a YFE meeting. So there's a lot of opportunity when you open it up and you ask people that have more of a season kind of a thing. And I think it's really nice that we can give the opportunity to young women to present, just because there isn't a whole lot of opportunity as far as, these live events go. You'll usually find a man or, the more seasoned female, but it's still good for everyone when you look at them.
Do they usually, when you do invite a more established entrepreneur to speak, do they usually request to be paid to make the appearance, or do they just come and do it just because they want to?
So I am approaching my first, I would say, big fish in that sense for the November events. And they, in the email discussions we've had so far, they're just excited to meet the community. I think that there's enough resources that giving someone an engaged audience that is really active is payments.
See, that's the one key. I've only approached people that I know that they could, like, they have a new product coming out or a new book or something like that, and I know that they would benefit just as much as we would benefit from hearing them.
Okay.
which I think is the key differentiator there. And I know there is still those women that are going to ask for a speaking fee, which is fine, and that's great. And you can just say, hey, I'm not in the position to offer this to you right now, but definitely in the future, I'd love to consider you. Do you mind if we stay in touch?
Okay.
Yeah.
Something like that. And again, if you guys are on the chat, if you have suggestions or questions, make sure you chat them in.
Let us know.
Yeah, we're almost done. Aaron and Marissa, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy days to do this too. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. It's been awesome.
So let's talk about location of the events. We've had it. I know a lot of different networking events do this where they'll go from like one restaurant to a boutique and that kind of a thing. They go where the free space is, basically. And I talked to Erin about this, that there's value, and Marissa too. I've gotten suggestions for both of you on this point. There's value in having it in one specific location when it's every other month, and you really go there for the people, the atmosphere, that type of a thing, but just making it easy for young women. Now, we've talked about doing it in a co-working space because a lot of young women already kind of have their eyes set on a space if they don't already work in one, because most of our audience is in their 20s and 30s, and they work out of their homes. They're solopreneurs with a virtual team if they have a team at all. So, with that, what are your thoughts? Because I know, Erin, you definitely had some opinions as far as Los Angeles goes, and Marissa, you can tell me if this is the same in New York. But the people that live in specific neighborhoods, they tend to stay in those neighborhoods. They don't want to commute out to go to like downtown if they live in Santa Monica.
Yeah, ideally, if things were aligned. I mean, most of us have jobs, businesses, all of that. Like, if we could have it at like 1 o'clock on a Tuesday when there's no traffic, we can go anywhere in the city. So definitely having the event at night. I know women are taking off work early, are fighting traffic, are sitting in traffic for a long time. So what I liked the option of having at this last one is we did have it really near public transportation, and it was really cool because several women did take our barely used public transportation here in LA. We do have a metro, despite it not being heavily used. So what I did when I set this vision forward earlier this year, it was I wanted to move it around the city because people do become very like central core to their area. I live in West LA, and people tend to be like, oh, I don't cross the 405. So I'm trying to move it around. To me, it's important to keep it in more central LA. If it's West LA, North Hollywood, something like that. If people want to start one in the Valley, they can go that way, but that's a bit of a haul to get out there and not really where my target demographic is for this. So I'm thinking next year, instead of trying to identify a different space in a different quadrant or area of the city each time, I want to find 3 locations, and we'll just kind of rotate between those each month, just to make that variable a little easier.
Now, Marissa, what's your thoughts on the co-working space and staying in one spot and that kind of a thing? What's it like in New York City?
Well, because the city isn't as spread out, I mean, we're obviously more compact, and public transportation is very widely used here. You don't get so much resistance to going to different neighborhoods. I wouldn't have something that's like all the way uptown, like super far Upper East Side or super far Upper West Side, because those tend to be less heavily traveled areas of the city. I mean, I'd want to probably try to look more. Midtown is usually pretty central for most people, or some people, they don't mind if it's in like a trendy quote unquote trendy neighborhood like Meatpacking District or Lower East Side. People don't mind going there because there's a lot of personality there, and they like the feel of being in those neighborhoods. So I know it's not as big of a challenge here, I don't think, unless it's raining or something, and then don't want to.
It's like a snow day in LA when that happens.
Yeah. So, but I love the idea of the co-working space. I especially love, even though I haven't been there, I just like the idea, and I really like the sort of the brand and the look and feel of WeWork. I did go to Wix recently. Wix Lounge, Jen, I think I've sent you their information. Not probably not like where I would want to do it. It was, it was a nice space and everyone was friendly there, but I just feel like it's nothing kind of that special about it in terms of the space. So WeWork has more of like a vibe going, I think. So I would recommend that if we want to go the co-working route.
Yeah, the one thing I can tell you, I've talked to a couple of co-working spaces in Los Angeles and in Seattle. I haven't really, well, the people that I've talked to actually have spaces, whether it's them or the larger entity. They have spaces in New York City, Seattle, and Los Angeles, so it'd be more of a partnership with YFE. The issues that we're coming up with is that co-working spaces generally have a 9 to 5 kind of office administration hour.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were to put an event on after hours, it would, I mean, you'd be like responsible for it. You'd have to unlock the door, lock it, turn the lights on, do the garbage, all that stuff, which doesn't sound like a lot of fun. And also, there needs to be it gets a little bit more complicated. So that's kind of where, just to let everyone know, that's where we're at right now. If you have connections with co-working spaces that you enjoy, make sure that you chat them in, and we'll make sure that we look into those. But Erin and Marissa, you have a really nice list of co-working spaces, and hopefully we'll be able to figure something out as far as event locations go for the official. And Marissa, is that cool with you too, the bi-monthly kind of a thing? So it'd be every other month for an event?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So we'll say officially bi-monthly Seattle meetups that are the big, fun events that bring all of the women together. Now, there, like Erin was saying in the Facebook group, there is a bell curve. There's the tent pole programming kind of a thing, if you will, where it goes up and down as the event happens. So keeping the momentum going and making sure that people get to know each other outside of the event, allowing for those connections to happen. Someone that approached YFE is grubwithus.com, which, for the record, grubwithus, your name, I don't like saying that name. I don't know what it is about grub, but it's not a very young female entrepreneur name, I guess.
It makes me think of beer bellies and drinking
Yes.
at a bar and French fries.
It's grub. I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, as far as the site, it's a very cool site. So you guys, while I don't not partial to your name, it's a very cool piece of very cool tool to use. Now, do you think we should use a third? I mean, because for those of you that are watching, YFE is very much bootstrapped. We're just working, doing what we can to help the community, to connect people and help people discover new things. So as far as using a third-party tool like that versus creating our own in the meantime, is that something that you think would help women connect, or do you think we should create something like, I've talked to Erin about this. I have BuddyPress installed on the site. I'm a web host, for those of you that are watching, so I have access to all this stuff. It's just a matter of whether or not women will use it is the question. So I know that a lot of tech sites and things like that are more geared towards men and that are more technical, those get used. Forums get used, but more women seem, just for me, they tend to use what they're already familiar with, Facebook and Twitter and that kind of a thing. So thoughts on the tool that facilitates the connections as far as these coffee meetups go?
There's one specific to LA that's, I think, like Dine LA Network. There's something kind of like Grub with Us here.
That's just in Los Angeles?
Yeah. There's also an eater dating site, which is what it was thinking too. So yeah, I want to check out the site. I haven't looked at it yet, to be honest, and see what it is. But I do feel that the advantage with using third-party applications like Grub with Us and Eventbrite is that there is that potential exposure that you might connect with a woman who may not find us otherwise.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think that's definitely something of value. Marissa, have you heard of Grub with Us?
I haven't, no.
Okay. Do you think that women would plan dinners or coffee meetups on their own after the event, or do you still feel like that there would need to be some kind of leadership there?
I think there'd need to be leadership there. I think in New York, people connect at events, but then afterwards it's like they have to go somewhere else or they've got other plans. Or it's hard to I think it would have to be an organized thing, and you'd have to sort of get people to go. It wouldn't be
right
like Otherwise, it's just too easy to go your own separate way and go back to your own life and do your own thing. Does
No,
that
that
make
makes
sense?
sense.
What I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know how to say it, but
No, that makes total
okay,
sense.
okay.
So we'll see what we do as far as keeping the momentum and the in-person stuff goes, but I'll check out that site, Erin. And I agree with you. Like, I started spending time on doing that stuff again, bootstrapped. And then I just, I think it was like at 1 o'clock. I'm like, what am I doing? They're not even going to use this. Just so I can say that it's on there. But anyway, so just to finish things up, because I know you guys have a busy day planned, events that are coming up, the Twitter chat, live stream, and web conferences. The Twitter chat, like I said yesterday, I said that CNN is taking over it, and I used copy that CNN provided, and people are tweeting me, I'm so excited to watch you on CNN. I'm like, no, not on CNN. So I should just clarify this. CNN, the producer, it's so funny. The girl that I am talking to is so sweet and really energetic and just loves everything about young female entrepreneurs, like the people in the community. She was trying to get this anchor to be on it, and then schedules didn't work very well, and she said, oh, we'll just have the production team. Like, as in it was kind of a sad little, B solution, but I was thinking a group of young women having access to the people that decide what content goes on CNN. I think they're going to be okay with that. But that's happening on the 28th, and you both said that you would be there, so you'd moderate and everything, and I'll put your bios up on the chat piece so that any attention that gets, hopefully you guys will grab off of that too. And so that'll be a lot of fun. Now, Twitter chats, just to clarify, I don't expect you to be at all of them. I don't expect you, if you don't want to do any of them. That's the whole point of YFE, is that you do what you can from where you are with what you have. And so, yeah.
Conversely, if you ever need a break, like if you need a day where if you need me or Marissa, I'm speaking for you, Marissa.
Yeah, that's fine. Speak for me.
If you need one of us to moderate the Twitter chat, I'm happy to do so. Yesterday I ran out.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. And some days, one day I was at the doctor's office with my son, and I tweeted every once in a while, but it goes along really well with, even if I'm not there sometimes. So, yeah, no, definitely, I'll make sure that. And I've been thinking about getting kind of like a Twitter chat team, so there'd be like 2 or 3 young women that could be there. Just another way to get other young women's exposure, because it's a lot of fun to do them, and a lot of people notice you when you do the Twitter chats. So
I love reading afterwards. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's fun. So now with the live streams, one of the things that I brought up in LA, and I've talked about a little bit on social media, is bringing in the male perspective into entrepreneurship. I asked women, who's your favorite male entrepreneur, and I got like 3 answers. And I asked somebody about it in LA, and I was like, nobody said who their favorite was. Usually if I ask who's your favorite female role model or whatever it is, people are all over it. And Jules, she was so sweet. She was just like, I don't think that I have one. I don't really know of any of them that I can look up to, which is true. Like when you're part of young female entrepreneurs, it's generally because you're not part, like you don't pay attention so much to the male kind of area of entrepreneurship. And maybe you have an idea of some of the big players, but you don't know exactly what it is that they do or how they got there. So I think it'd be something interesting to explore. But what I wanted to get your opinion on was whether or not you feel like that's something that could be, because the live stream happens once a week, and it gets good exposure, especially on iTunes. We've got some great followers as far as that goes. Should we give up a once a week kind of spot that gets highlighted like that to a man when young women don't have that many opportunities? Like, this is a cool thing for young women. What's your thought on that? Am I making too much out of it?
No, I don't think. I think the one I loved your interview with Ryan Paul, because to me, if it's a male who I feel like I can connect with, because he's like in my age range and really working that angle. When it gets into like venture capitalists and tech, and like if that's the kind, I don't connect on that level, because a lot of us are much more lifestyle oriented in our businesses, I guess, if that makes sense, where it's more interpersonal than sitting in front of a computer all day are running, and I know there are women in YFE LA who are in that tech field, but it's a much different level of connection. And I think you're right on target when you say like young female entrepreneurs don't get a ton of exposure, or we get, exposure on like wedding sites or things like that, where it's like, it's nice to have something that's a little more serious, and not that DIY or crafting and weddings aren't important, because it's a lot of business for women. But I want a spot for me where I can talk a little more business and strategy, and find women who are like-minded in that sense. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. And Marissa, what are your thoughts on it?
I don't think I understood the question.
Do you think that we should highlight more men on the live stream and like?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think once in a while it's okay, but I mean, like you said, it is a place for women to feel supported. And I mean, I know coming from a background, in my corporate job, it was, very male dominated, and it's just nice as a woman to just have a female support system, and to feel like I'm making a difference, and being supported, as an entrepreneur, and being recognized. However, I mean, I do think our male counterparts, we can learn from them just like they can learn from us. So I don't think we should say, oh no, absolutely never. But I mean, as long as it's like Erin said, as long as it's somebody that we feel aligned with, then I think it's totally fine. But
just to clarify, YFE is not a men hater.
I'm not saying. I don't know. Did it come off like that?
No, it didn't. It's just sometimes I'll get people that'll be like, no men. I'm like, that's not what I said. But
no, I don't think no men. I mean, I just think, I think we can all learn from each other. So I don't want to say no boys allowed, but it's nice when it's more heavily geared toward women. Female and supporting.
No, that makes sense. So we're ending up the hour, and I just want to get one more thing in. Google Hangouts, we did masterminds using Ovali's web conferencing service a while last year. We did 2 a month or something like that. It was really hectic. Now, Google Hangouts. Have you guys done Google Hangouts, both of you?
I haven't been on a formal one. I've tested it with friends, so that's the extent of my use of it.
Okay. And Marissa?
Well, judging from my Skype capabilities, that would be a negative.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. I think I'm just trying to decide, because the masterminds thing had a lot of interest, and especially when we geared it towards specific industries. The problem was with the web conferencing piece, it got expensive. For me, even that I own the tool, it still got expensive with the phone charges and everything like that. And I'd like to do Google Hangout. It's just, I don't know. I don't think that women use it. And that's totally stereotypical. I shouldn't have said that. Like that. I'm not saying that all women, just a lot of women I talk to don't.
I don't know if it's because it's so new, but I mean, I go on there and my peers aren't there, so I'm not interested in being there. And to me, quite honestly, there is limited time in the day and places that I can spend social media, and Facebook, Twitter are my 2 big ones, and then I've got a couple others that feed in, but I'm just like, there's a saturation point where I just don't have any more time to devote to another social media network.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, go ahead.
Oh, no, I mean, I would definitely, that would be a way to help me get into using it more, I think.
Okay. No, I think it'll be interesting, and I'm going to, maybe I'll just reach out to Google and see what they say. They're down the street, so I'll check it out in Kirkland. So anyway, any last points that you guys want to leave people with? Maybe some upcoming events that are happening in your area, or resources they should check out, or things that are happening with your business specifically?
Oh my goodness. I'm really sorry. I am going on vacation for the first time this year in 2 weeks, and my head is just like, just get through and like go on vacation and shut down for a week. So when I saw the like business travel feed yesterday, I was like, I just need travel. I just need to like go away. So I think that I would say, like, just make sure you're taking time for yourselves at the end of the day as a YFE. That's what I want to do.
Aww, you're funny, Erin. Erin's planning a wedding. She's got her own business. She's got her blog, and she stays fit, and she does YFE. So her plate is very full. So thank you so much for doing this. And then Marissa.
Oh, no, I mean, I don't have anything. There's one thing that I would just love to hear from YFEs in New York City, because I don't know who you are. So
I will send some your way.
Okay, awesome. I just want to start meeting people virtually so that when we do finally meet in real life, I can put a face with a name. So please tweet me or Facebook me or message me or email me or something. Just let me know who you are, make some noise, and I'm really looking forward to connecting with everyone.
On that point, we have Marissa at yfenyc.com as your email address, and I'll talk to you about that. I've already talked to Erin about hers. And then Erin has a Facebook group at the YFE LA group, and so maybe we'll get the same thing started for you so you can start collecting people. And then the Twitter hashtags are YFE LA and then YFE NYC. So if you're in either area, you can connect that way.
Erin, I was trying to find your Facebook. Okay, I was trying to find your Facebook group so I could lurk on it, and
I just added you. Okay. You are in. We're in secret. Okay. I did want to say that you asked about shout-outs. I'm going to give 2 shout-outs. Jules Taggart, amazing woman, Kickstart Kitchen. She drove all the way up from San Diego. For those of you not familiar with California, we're not very compact. So that was about a 2.5-hour drive if she didn't hit traffic, and I think she did. So she's amazing. She is having a free webinar this evening at 6 p.m. Pacific, so 9 p.m. for East Coast people. Go to kickstartkitchen.com/events to sign up. It's all about writing a kick-ass about page for your website. And and another YFE, Jenna Britton, who is very modest, and I adore her. She's a great writer. She's hosting a local workshop this weekend in Culver City. I think it's 3 hours long. She's providing tea, cookies, and you get to hear all the fun things that she has to say about writing. And she's been featured in Forbes, and she writes for Daily Muse, and she's just cool. So you should check out that. It's on the YFE LA group page.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah. Right, well, ladies, thank you so much for taking an hour out of your day. I really appreciate it. And make sure you all connect with them on Twitter. I'll have all of the links that we talked about and everything. This will go up on YouTube and on the Young Female Entrepreneurs blog. Awesome. All right. Until next month.
Right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Jen. Bye.